Batwing number 6, written by Judd Winnick, art by Ben Oliver. We left off last issue with the Citadel being destroyed by Massacre and a bunch of guys that he hired. And Batwing gets his hands on one of those guys, manages to trace a call back to Massacre, and finds him in Giza, Egypt. And that's where Batwing says this will all end. This issue picks up 3 years ago, flashback to David's time in the police. We see his partner walking away from some shady-looking guys, and he's like, there's nothing to worry about over here. And David's like, are you sure about that? Because those guys were driving on the wrong side of the road. They killed a family, and I'm pretty sure I see the local warlord's tattoo on them. And he's like, nope, they said they were good. I trust them. And as David presses it more, we see that his partner had taken a bribe to basically be corrupt and look the other way. So David goes back, he talks to Matu. And he's like, what good is it being a good person if all the good people are also bad? Like, how am I supposed to fight corruption on the side of the angels here? And basically, he comes down and he's like, all right, but I'm going to stay morally good, but I'm not going to play by the rules anymore. And so that's where he starts making his own little pact against evil. Then we cut to today, Giza, Egypt, and for some reason that I triple checked, Bruce Wayne, Cone, all the VIPs from the Citadel are now here in Egypt on a bus. I have no idea why they're here, why they would voluntarily come, because Massacre didn't drive them. They're here now. Okay. So he's threatening them and saying, like, the kingdom, it failed, and you are also a failure, Cone. And Cone's like, I'm not the kind of hero you think I am. That's not what I did. And he's like, oh, yeah, no. I know that you were like the wealthy face and the scientist in the background. Not a real hero. But you were also, Steelback the Man Machine, which was basically just Iron Man of the group with all of his flashy toys. And Massacre's like, so you're also going to die. So as he's about to do that, he looks up in the sky. He sees Batwing soaring in this, what I can only describe as action figure suit of just able to fly at supersonic speeds, I guess. But as he has to get out of it, which I guess takes longer than a second, Massacre ushers everybody back onto the bus and, like, seals the doors. So he's like, all right, I'll get to you guys in a minute. I'm going to go fight Batwing now. We get another flashback to 1 year ago. There's some gun deal going on. Tensions are going high because people think they're going to be ripped off or whatever. But then they smell something. And then David jumps out in like a mask and military gear. And he's like, I set fire to your truck. And he starts beating up everybody there. And it's not like killing them. He's still staying morally good. But there's a whole lot of what are definitely brain injuries here. So, So as he's holding one of them, threatening them, he's saying, like, all right, look, I've taken out 4 other groups just tonight. I've hobbled your entire industry. Now you go and tell your boss and warn everybody that knows you that I'm out here and I am going to stop you. And Batman, of course, is just watching nearby. And he's like, oh, you're getting quite the reputation around here. Would you like some help? AKA a bat identity. And I guess that's where we're supposed to just assume he got it. So then we go back to today, and it's just a fight scene, just a general, rough and tumble battle of philosophies of David being like, oh, life will always triumph over death, and Massacre being like, death will always triumph over life. And then at one point, Massacre shoves his machete through Batwing's wing into a wall. So he's like, all right, so you just got it. You're trapped now. You can't get that out. I'm going to go kill that bus of people. Which I don't know why he thought Batwing was trapped, but he was. And as he's walking away, he says, we honor them all in blood, which triggers a memory for Batwing of his time with General Aoketa, the warlord who trained him. And we see a comparison side by side that, like, they have the same sort of build. They both said the same thing. And Batwing's like, geez, is this the same guy? Am I having to face my past right now? Oh, that sucks. So he dislodges the wing, like he could just detach it the whole time. And as Massacre reaches the bus, he gets sprayed by Batwing by a stream of gasoline, I can only presume, that comes out of Batwing's suit. And then Batwing ignites it and sets Massacre on fire. And as Batwing's telling everybody, hey, get out of the bus, he's on fire, Massacre shoves his knife into the bus's gas tank and then uses his own like body to light it on fire, and then just gets away. He manages to get away. We see that the door is jammed, so Batwing has to run over there, unlatch the door, and get everybody out. But as he looks around, Massacre's nowhere to be found. So later on, they're talking to Cone in Batwing's lair, and they're basically trying to figure out, okay, so he's still out there, and he's still going to be aiming to kill you guys. What's going on here? And basically, we don't get any straight answers, but it's left to interpretation that, like, Massacre believes that when the kingdom left, like, the African people to fend for themselves, they did more harm than they ever did good, because they were, like, the people had become so reliant on them. I think that's what they get out of it. Anyway, we see him saying that, look, the identities have always been kept secret. Nobody should know who we are, but, you know, a bunch of us have ended up dying. Out of the people who are left, there are, I think they said 3 of them who are still alive, not counting Cone himself. One of them was like a straight up like goddess, like an actual goddess, so she just left, so she's not a problem. She's never going to be found. But the other 2 are actually in America, and not only America, they are in Gotham City. So Batman and Batwing are both there, and they're like, well, that works for us. And we see that they will have plenty of backup because Nightwing and Robin are both there. They're literally perching. They're just on a gargoyle staring down the rain. So yeah, that's the end of this trade, at least. I like it. I really do. The art is, as always, fantastic. There was that one issue that was a little bit off in the middle, but that was just fill-in artists. I really like the way it looks. As for whatever it's trying to say, it doesn't feel like it's done with it. Like, this doesn't feel like the end of an arc. This just feels like the end of the first act, or maybe a halfway point where it's like, okay, we've had a minor victory here, but we've only just realized who the villain truly is, and therefore we've still got a long way to go in it. And as such, I feel weird judging this on like a whole arc basis. But for this particular issue, I think it was very well done. I think it did a good job demonstrating everything it needed to in terms of the balance. I do have the big complaint of why in the hell are they here? Because literally on the last page of the last issue, Batman had Cone and they were not on a bus. So how did they get to Egypt? Why would they go to Egypt of their own volition? And if it wasn't of their own volition, how did they get there? Minor plot holes. But overall, I'm going to give this one a 7. I think it's very well done, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing what comes in the next 6 issues.